Hi, and welcome to Tech Talk. I'm your host, Sergio with Arvig. Today, we're going to be talking about CD ripping. CD ripping is kind of an old school term used back in the day when people are just getting CD drives in their computers, but it's still very relevant today, even when you're buying music online and everything else. A lot of people still prefer their CD, but they want the advantage of listening to that CD on their computer and getting it on their MP3 player, etc., etc. So what CD ripping does is it lets you take your CD, plop it in your computer, and then you are literally ripping the music off of the CD and putting it onto your computer's hard drive. Now I know what a lot of you are thinking, with the controversy of things like Napster back in the late 90s and other services that were illegally downloading music, you might be saying, a term like CD ripping, that's gotta be illegal, I shouldn't be doing it. No, it is completely legal as long as you paid for that CD, so why don't we show you how you can do it, and you can get all the music from your old CD collection onto your computer, your MP3 player, and everywhere else you want it. So as you can see, we have iTunes open, and on the left hand side I've selected a CD that I've put into the computer. Now, first of all, what I want to mention is iTunes and a lot of other music programs go out on the internet and find the name of the songs, the artists, the name of the album, the genre, even the album art. All this information it can find online for you and tie it to the music. So once I import it, even when I take the CD out, it's still going to have that information. So people who are used to buying their music from iTunes or any other online source, you like it because it has the name and stuff built in. But people with CDs in the past, years ago, they'd have to manually type in the name of every song, every artist, the album, and that sort of stuff. Now, luckily, for about 99% of all CDs out there, iTunes and other music sources can get that information for you. Let's look at the next part about ripping or importing our CD. In the lower right-hand corner, we have the Import CD button and the Import Settings button. Let's look at some of these settings first and see what they are. The main two things to look at are what you're going to import using, and the second setting, whether you want to use iTunes Plus or high quality. The import using is going to be the type of file format you want to import as. So a lot of people who download their music are used to MP3. That's a very popular type of music format. There's also the WAV format, which is more popular with Windows and CDs. CD players play WAV formats. They're also very big files though, much bigger than MP3. And then there's the Apple lossless encoder, which takes the music and it's also a very big file, but it's as high quality as it can import as. It's as good as the CD itself. And then there's the AAC encoder, which is another Apple encoder, very high quality, but a little bit smaller than the Apple lossless. I tend to use AAC on my Macintosh computer. On my Windows computer, I tend to prefer MP3. Not that you can't use MP3 on a Macintosh computer either. It's very popular. You'll see when I switch to MP3, I have more choices here. So do I want to do high quality or higher quality or just good? And it shows you the speed that it's going to be at 160 kbps, which stands for kilobits per second, or 192 kilobits per second. Basically, the higher the number, the better quality your music's going to be. After I've selected the choices I want, I then have to select which songs I want to import. So I can either import the entire album, or by deselecting songs with the check marks, maybe I don't like track number 7 and 17 and 18, I can deselect those and then it'll only import the rest. Once I have all my settings correct, I click the Import CD button. About 5 to 10 minutes later, all of that music will be then stored on my hard drive, and I can move it to my MP3 player, my phone, my iPad, another computer, whatever else I want. And it's much easier to play. You always have your phone with you, but you don't necessarily want to carry your whole CD collection with you. Hey, thanks for watching today's Tech Talk. I'm glad you could join us. Remember, if you have questions about internet service with Arvig, we'd be happy to help you out. High-speed internet really is the way to go when you're doing things like downloading music and using any sort of internet service like iTunes. So why don't you check us out at arvig.com or give us a call at 888-99-ARVIG. Or feel free to stop into one of our Arvig locations.